Yeah, here I am. It's back on another new week, Saturday today. So maybe you've noticed, like I sure have, that sometimes the camera seems to just disappear into the world like that. I'm gonna see if I can get that under control this week. Who knows, right? It's recentered there. Anyway, the it seems to go up and down on its own will. So I took a look at it this morning and did a bunch of resetting, and then I checked for any updates and stuff like that. So anyhow, I'll see if I can keep it under control a little bit better this week or in the future. Who knows? Anyhow, where am I at here now? I'll just get back to the business at hand. See, it's pointing the right way now. Anyhow, I was on to the. It's more light happening here somewhere. Onto the gas tank install. And I kind of left you in a lurch. So this is the underneath what it looks like. And all these that's tightened up nice. And the other side there is tightened up nice. And it fits in like it fits very nicely into the machine. I do have all of the hoses on the, you need enough light here now? Not much light. Hang on, I'll get more light. Okay, so here I am back again. So in here, you can see all the bits. There's this pipe here comes up, and it's the vent pipe. It hooks into here. It'll go over and behind there. Those other two pipes that are in there, you can see kind of a coppery looking pipes in there. They're the vent pipes off of the gas tank itself. And then up here I put this, you can't really see that, but the big blob of a bucket there. I have to find the proper name for that bucket, number one, and then find the part for the seal up there, because the seals aren't very good on that. But it's okay for now. I'm not gonna, they'll keep the vapor in, but they aren't really great. Anyway, so here I am, and I'll finish up today. I'll finish up getting that what do you call this? Is the bucket, the hose thing, receptacle for putting gas into a tank. Anyway, I'll finish up getting that installed here, and we should be okay. Yeah, that was a bit of work to get that all in there, but it's in now. So there's these 3 screws here that go into the metal thing in behind there, and then there's a rubber connector thing in there also, and then this metal thing just squeezes everything together, right? Can you see that? There's this metal thing here, and it squeezes everything together, and then the rubber hose, the rubber sleeve comes down farther than the metal, so that you can get a clamp on it and then make that tight. Then there's this hose here, which is the overflow hose out of the tank over there, and it just gets a rubber hose connector in between here and here, and then, don't you know, gas cap goes on. Looks pretty good. Well, I'm happy with that. Now this part here, I was thinking about what I'd do about painting, so I'll just have to tape that off when I paint, and that'll be because it's there now, and I'm not gonna, well, you never know. It's pretty easy to take it apart now that I know how it goes in. It's not too tough to get that out of there again, so maybe I'll take it out to paint. We'll just see. Yeah, so the next bit of my journey here might be trying to get the fuel line in on this side. That would be from the tank to the filter to the pump. So I've got a couple of filters, and when I was looking at the new tank, in the bottom of the new tank, there's a screen in there, so it's a screen filter to keep the yucco out of the lines. The other tank, the screen must have been just gone on it, because there was lots of yucco coming out the lines. And maybe it was just plugged up because there wasn't much yucco, wasn't much fuel coming through the lines. Anyway, that being said, I'll see if I can get the rest of the fuel system put together here. I've got new rubber things for it to hang it on, but I have to sort of make a new bracket for it because I couldn't get a bracket for it from the dealer. There wasn't one available. Yeah, so this is what holds the fuel pump on. So I'll take that off, and then I'll see if I can manufacture a bracket for the fuel pump. It goes here and here, and there's these rubber mounters, which I do have a couple of them, so I'll get that off. Yeah, there, so I made a little bracket out of, I just cut some pieces of metal, made a round thing on it, then I tightened it tight there. Now this, I've got to make some holes in it right in the, where am I looking at? Make some holes in it right in the middle of where that bracket goes through there. So that'll be the next challenge. Oh, difficult some days. Anyway, I'll get at it. Yeah, there's the, where is it? Right here. The bracket. Bracket's all made up there, so it's in, this fits in just fine. And then when that gets tightened down, it gets real tight against it, it holds it tight. So then what I'll do now is I'll just paint it up, and then I'll install that fuel pump in. Yeah, there we go. Surprisingly enough, these things here, which are all those little metal brackets to hold the stuff in back here. I call it stuffing. Could be stuffing, whatever it is. This stuff up here, right? All that stuff to hold that in is in surprisingly good shape. And this stuff here is glued onto the wall anyhow, so it's going to stay. But those I'll just put them on for, that's where they get, that's where they go. Now, I'll let them dry out, but I think I'm ready to go ahead with the whatever you call that, the fuel system again. Over here, before I get carried away here, I hooked up the return fuel line right there. Can you see that stuff? Yeah. That's the return fuel line to the tank right there. So now I'm getting the outgoing line coming on here. Yeah, there, that's fuel pump in, and it hooks onto the steel line that I made here. And then when you're going ahead and install this new fuel pump, they come with a little plastic stopper on the end of it here. And that plastic stopper will fit right in the hose. Don't you know what I did, right? I wondered where it was. And so I took the hose off, and of course the hose was blocked. So, you know, just a good thing to do it twice. So I think this is positive side here, this is negative side here. Negative side's got the big, positive side's got the small. That shouldn't rattle at all, except for this thing here is hitting on there. So I'll have to make something to keep that away from there. But underneath here, I'll pull back here so you can see maybe what's going on here. So you see, where am I pointing? You see my fingers? Yeah. So way down here. There. So anyhow, like the fuel system is there, right? And this whole pan here, after everything's put back into it, gets covered up with a big metal thing, right? So you got to watch out where the fuel line comes out up there. I'm not sure what happens there. You got to watch out for the return line going in here, this side, over there. Yeah, right about there, and make sure that everything's okay there. Otherwise, then this is all covered in. Like there's a big metal pan that goes underneath there, so and it keeps all the wiring and everything safe and out of the mud. That's why it's in good shape underneath there, I think. Okay, well, anyhow, that's about a day's work there, just doing that. But that's good work. There, so now the fuel system is sort of complete at the front end, right? Here we are, yeah. Fuel system's kind of complete up there at the front end. Got the tank in, all the stuff for the tank is in. Got a fuel filter, got a fuel pump. Return line is hooked up, so it's just a matter of dropping the motor into it now or undropping the motor. The motors on these things go up from the bottom. And it looks pretty good, like that looks all right, hey? Like that. Anyway, there we go. See you next time. Yeah, there's those these things here. like little wire brackets that hold. They just springed in. There's a hole down here and a hole over there, and then a couple of little wire brackets up above here. I don't know. Can you see this stuff? Where am I? Yeah, right here. One's here. The other one's here. They just hold that thing there from coming back out in case the glue lets go. So anyhow, there you go. That's all. That's all for today. Again, I'll shut off some lights here and head her in. Yeah, well, here I am right now. Yeah, here, that's me, right? Back with the van. Anyway, what day is it? Sunday, I think. But I've got this, you can hear that running back here. That's the heater motor that goes in the back. I just got it hooked up. I've got a 12-volt power supply here. I got that hooked up to it and let it run for a while. Then see about how to get it mounted in there. I think it just mounts in with a strap, right? I'll check it out. And once it's mounted in, then I'll let it be for a while and carry on with the other wiring up here. Yeah, so that's what I was going to tell you. Time to go after some wiring. See if I can get the wiring cleaned up a bit. Just clean connections and stuff like that. Yeah, so I started working on back here. The heater motor goes right up in there, and I checked it out. It works okay, and so I've stuck it into place. And then you got to think about the interconnectedness of everything, because this is where the heater. Where am I looking here now? Yeah, right there. That's where the heater fan, all the heater stuff goes through. Then it hooks onto the old gas heater there. And then that hooks onto the front. So all the wiring back here to do with, and the plumbing for the fuel system has to also hook into the plumbing or the fuel system for this part here, which is the what do you call that? That's the thing for the gas heater, and that's the fuel pump for that. Anyway, I think the fuel pump works. I'll check it out and see if it does, and but I got to get this T intersection off here and put it in over there. Yeah, that's the fuel pump for the gas heater here, and a little bit of disappointment there because it broke off the fitting when I was trying to get that off of there. Oh dear. Oh well. Have to see if I can find another one of these things somewhere on the planet and go from there. Yeah, now, so what did I do? I broke the fuel pump thing. Did I show you that? Anyway, I guess that's disappointing. Yeah, I already disappointed you once. Anyhow, that's getting disappointed take two. But I did find, then the next thing is that I did wrong, right? Wrong, right? Here, see this? That's the old rubber mount for the fuel pump for the, whatever you call that thing, the heater down here, gas-powered heater. Now, so I tried getting that out of there, but I couldn't. So I went and I put one, there was a hole right here, so I just put it in there. But it means that the wires need to be stretched a bit. But it should work all right, unless I can get that changed around, and if I can, then but I can't get it off, so, or I haven't had any luck getting it off. Anyhow, I'll give it another go here, maybe. Yeah, so I gave it another go, gripped it with these things, and then I custom made a wrench to fit in there. So that is off of there. Now I'll put a new one in there and change around the fuel pump thing. Yeah, there I got it moved over to the right spot. Can you see that right there? Yeah, and then the fuel hose will go like here, and that's good. That one there, I'll just leave it up there because you never know, I might want to put something on it someday. Who knows? Yeah, so that whole operation there would have been an awful lot easier had I done it before I put the gas tank in. Oh well, there you go. Yeah, there's a mess of wiring, right? Yeah, in there. That's the fuse box there, right? And don't know what all these fuses do, but I imagine it's in the book, right? So this one here, that's suspect. But I won't give up on it yet because it seemed to work when I was using it before. Maybe I can find that relay. I don't know. I've got lots of relays around. Okay, now this is a ground cluster, and that's a ground cluster, and that's usually one of the biggest things that is a problem with all wiring is grounds. So I'm going to get that off of there and clean that all up, put it back on so it's well grounded. Everything's well grounded, and start cleaning these connections. That's all I have to do is clean connections, and it's going to be tedious and slow. So here we go. That's the magic elixir. That stuff is CLR, and it cleans up these things really nice and gets rid of all the corrosion on them. But I have to get all these. Point over here now. I have to get all these things sort of dipped into a CLR. That's one off there, and I noticed that one ground, like that ground there, sure wasn't doing very well. Anyhow, I'll clean these all up and then get that back together. I'll get that other ground bank off of here and then go from there. Yeah, clean that up. That it's amazing how clean they come just after like 5 minutes in the brew here. Takes off all that old yuck. So now, and I went with the grinder and just ground off the paint on the top of this so that there'll be a good adhesion to it, or a good ground there. So that's next. Yeah, so now, where am I? Right here. So 3 wires, 1, 2, where's the third? Right here. Need new ends on them. What I've done is I've taken these are called linesman pliers, because they use them on electric lines, right? Okay. So I've taken these and just squeezed the ends a little bit so they come on tight, and anything that wouldn't come on and hold tight, I've got to put a new end on. Usually they're broken. That one there, see, it's broken. And that one's broken. This one here, yeah, they're all broken. So I'll clip them off and crimp on new ends. Yeah, there's 2 on there, they're new, 1 here. And I've got this crimping tool that works pretty good for getting them crimped up. Okay, now those ground wires are done. I bet you I've taken about 90% of the electrical problems out of the car just by cleaning that stuff up. But then I spilt my CLR all over the floor here, so, oh dear, you're not supposed to wash the floor with CLR. Yeah, so now just so you know how tedious this is, every wire that goes into these things here, I'm going to pull out and clean with CLR. Now, there's a little clasp at the back side. You can see, I don't know if that focused in there. Can you see at this edge here, there's a divot there. Same there, divot. That's where the little clasp on the wire goes, which is right here, where my thumbnail is. I don't know. Hopefully that's focused, yeah. And then, so you dig in with this little screwdriver and close, and push that clasp. You have to push up on this, dig in with the screwdriver, push that clasp so it's in, then pull the wire out. And then you have to, pull the clasp back out again so it's got spring to it when you put it back in, and that will get it back into the hole properly. That's the theory anyhow. And every wire that I have out, I check and make sure that it's tight on the connector it's supposed to be tight on. Okay, carry on. So I'll see you in a couple of days, right? Yeah, well there, now that's enough for today. I've got this one done, the one that goes here is done, this one here, got lots of wires on it, so it'll get done tomorrow. These 2 here, I took them off and cleaned them. That one in the back there had a plastic cover like these have, and when I took it off, the plastic cover disintegrated, so I figured, well, I better put something on there, so I did. just a piece of heat shrink tube. And then I thought, well, might as well get both of them. But see here, the same thing. They only put the plastic cover on the one side. Don't know why, but that's how it is. Anyway, that's it for today. So I'll come back and do some more of this stuff tomorrow. Pretty exciting movies. Hey, bye for now. Yeah, here I am back at it with the Volkswagen. What day is it? It's Monday today. So anyway, I went off to the store this morning and I won't soon run out of CLR again. So I'm just going to transfer a bunch of it to this little bucket here. So that one there. Then I'll go back at the wiring. Yeah, and I also got a container that I can put it in so it doesn't spill every time I move. Like that one there. It kind of spilled all over the floor here. So anyway, back onto this one here. And then I'll do those ones over there. Yeah, there's the old CLR treatment. You just dip them in there for a little bit. And sometimes you'll see them bubbling. That means that it's reacting with whatever corrosion's on them. Sometimes you don't see them bubbling. And then I guess that means there's not too much on them. So anyhow, this one here is pretty clean. So I'll just pull it out and wipe it off with a paper towel and put it back in place. Yeah, so this fuse here, these two wires here were on that fuse there. And it was overheated one time. I don't know why. So I'll just move them over to this one here that's unused. And that will alleviate that problem. So I'll clean up this end of it, put the fuse back. I'm cleaning the fuse right now. Yeah, they're all, that first bank is done. Now getting into this back part of it. Might have to just turn it upside down or something. Yeah, that'd be the way to go about it. Quite the deal here. Lots of wires. And they all look fairly corroded, so what the hell, eh? Yeah, I'm getting about halfway through here. I'm down to about here on the side over there. So I'm starting from this end going that way. So you can tell, like, these ones here are all nice and clean, these fuses, and all the stuff leading to them. I'm working on these two right now. That one there, I don't know what's going on, whether they're supposed to have a fuse or not. I'll find out. And it is a Q-tip intensive program. You use a lot of Q-tips going through and just wiping all these things off. Anyway, I'll keep at it. Yeah, there now. I've been through every one of them, all the way up and down, and cleaned them all with CLR. And they all look pretty good now. This one here, the casing cracked on that one, so I put some tape on it. Otherwise, they all came apart easy. Now, this one fuse that's missing over here, I don't know what color it's supposed to be, but I went out and stole one from the Porsche, because the Porsche has got lots of fuses in it. And now I'll just rob Peter to pay Paul here, but I'll clean it up and put it in there, and then this bank of fuses will be all set to go. So now, what have we got? I got all the grounds fixed up over here on that ground cluster stuff. It's a cluster. This wire here is kind of ratty. I don't imagine there's anything wrong with it, but a few cuts in the edge of it. And this thing here, that's the speedometer cable, which I have a new one to go in there. I'll get to that. But now I'm going to go and see all these connectors, like that connector and like that connector, and all these connectors. I'm going to take them apart and just clean them off. Like, I'll just dip them into the CLR, and that sort of cleans them off and then put them back together. And mostly they're pretty good after that. These ones here, like, they need a little bit of cleaning, and they go on the brake stuff up there, so I'll get that done and I'll carry on. Yeah, so I was happily working away over here and thinking how nice it is to work on a wiring set that just is dirty connections and there's nothing burnt really. And then I discovered over here, muchos burnos. Like, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah. There was a wire that just came across the top of that, was hot and melted it, right? And it was this wire over here, which has some dubious connections on it. Looks like somebody was wiring up, you know, something. Don't know what, but it certainly was. They were stealing the power from somewhere to go to somewhere, and then they didn't really pay attention too closely to. Well, I guess then the next guy that comes along figures, oh, there, that's fine, I can use that, and then all of a sudden it's grounded against something. So, like this blue wire here has got a brown wire on it, which typically is a ground, and I'm pretty sure that blue-white isn't for grounding, so somebody might have got that brown wire hooked into there, then made this wire, whatever it is, hot, and down here there's a couple of spots. Ooh. So I'll fix these little bits here, and down here another spot, that's a ground wire of some sort. Well, I'll fix these little bits, then, like that might have been, I don't know if that's even a Volkswagen thing right there. Doesn't look like any of the other connectors. So it's likely aftermarket stuff. Oh, no, that wires comes right out of the harness from somewhere. Don't know where it was supposed to go, but it certainly wasn't doing a very good job of it, whatever it wasn't doing. Anyway, I'll just clean up the rest of these connectors here, and then I'll start cleaning up this wiring here. Like I got a bunch of stuff to cut out of it. I don't think that's from the factory. But I don't know where those wires go. Like they're just here. Anyway, that's the mysteries of a 40-year-old van, right? Likely it was a stereo system of something, or, you know, something like that. Whatever it was, 40-year-old stereo system. Hey, that isn't there anymore. Yeah, I don't know if you can see in there, right back here where my finger is. Yeah, there's this wire here. It's a ground wire that was all burnt off, so it was part of the problem. Now I've fixed up what I could find here so far, and I don't think it was too serious. Just one wire seemed to get hot, and so it crossed these two wires, so I fixed them there, and this thing here was somebody had, you know, tapped into there, so I put a new connector on there. This thing, this wire here goes to the little lights that go in the gear shifter thing, so I have to, you know, figure out those things yet. And mostly, I think that's most of the burnt stuff is looked after. I'll keep on searching and see if I find any others, but I think that was it there. Not too serious, not like in the TR7 where I've chased down burnt wires for quite a few days. Anyway, that's enough for today, and tomorrow I'll come back out and carry on some more, see what happens. Yeah, here I am back at day number 3, maybe, of cleaning wires. I'll just show you here. Yeah, there we go. So now I've done a lot of the stuff over there, and I'm going to come over to here, and then up to here, and then think about taking that off to see. I know there's a fan motor in there. I think there's a fan motor in there. I don't know if there's a fan motor in there, but I'll see if I can take that off and figure out what's going on inside there. Yeah, so here's a thing. I don't know what it is, but it's got like this little reset switch here. So you press that reset button and it makes that thing touch over there. Now I don't know why or what it does or what it's for, but it's got 4 wires hooked onto it. I'll figure it out someday where it goes. But I don't know if you can see this right here, where the tip of the screwdriver there's a little tiny wire, and it's so this wire here, where the tip of the screwdriver is, it goes into this coil and gets its power from here somewhere down below there, and that's the positive side. The other side here is the negative side, and it's broken off or corroded off or burnt off or whatever is going on, but it's not hooked up. Otherwise, everything looks to be all right in there. So I'll see if I can make this hook up and figure out what it's for someday. But if I can make that hooked up, then not everything will work in there, no matter what happens. It'll be a working thing. Yeah, there now, for whatever it's supposed to do, I've got it back together. It's soldered onto the bottom there. And this part here is still on there. So I'll just let it be. I don't know what it does, and I don't know what kind of power it takes, so I'm not going to hook it onto anything. I'll just put it back where it came from and see what it does later. I don't know what it does. Yeah, so right here, that thing there sits there. Whatever it does, we don't know for sure, but it's got a heat sink on it of some sort. Don't know what, or a resistor thing in there. Anyhow, but you can see how yucky and corroded those things are, and I'll just stick it in the CLR over there for a little bit, let it soak, and then I'll put this connector into the CLR, let it soak for a bit. Then I want to move these wires out of the way anyhow, but I'll put this stuff back in, and then there's another, like a relay switch here, right? This here now. This relay goes in here, so I'll just get this off and soak it in the CLR. Seems to be a relay for the windshield wiper motor. So, and I haven't, the wiring for that goes up in there. Don't want to take that off if I don't have to. But I want to get this wiring out of the way here. So I think this will flip up out of the way. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, there now. I think I've got most of the wiring over there looked after, and I cleaned up this down here and stuff over here on this side I cleaned up. Next, I'm going to see if I can get this heater box out of here without too much trouble. I don't know what is too much trouble, hey? We'll see. Okay, give it a go. Yeah, now that was a day's work to get 4 bolts out, or 6 bolts. So there was a bolt here, there was a bolt there, this one here is drilled out. There was a bolt same place on the other side. The middle one drilled out from the back, and the top one came out. Yay. So then here's what it was holding, this heater box. So I imagine I'll be able to get them all back together eventually. Likely they had new lips, Phillips bolts, Phillips head screws on there. So this, I wanted to get this apart to well, number one, clean it out, and number two is to check the heater motor to see if it's going to run or not. Because I tried hooking up electricity to it, but nothing happened, and I don't know if it's seized or what. So anyway, there I'm pointing the wrong way anyhow. There you go, that's the heater box out of there. And this, one bolt here, one bolt there, one bolt there, same on the other side. Here, there, and there. This is the one I had to drill out on this side, and the middle one is the one I had to drill out on the other side. But it's all apart now, so there you go. What a job. Now if I had I did finish, happily I did finish up the wiring stuff. I don't know if I showed you this. I fixed up all that kind of stuff there, and so that's all come together okay. I think this is where the fresh air comes in here. Yeah, it does. And then yeah, right there. So there's got to be a turn-off thing for that somewhere, one of these. Yeah, this thing here turns it on and off. Anyway, I'll figure it all out as I go along. So that's it for today anyhow, so I'll come back tomorrow and try some more. Yeah, here it is, Wednesday, February 1st already, and I've been working on the Westfalia van, as usual. What a guess, eh? Anyhow, I'm on the, wait till I get this turned around. The heater box for the front, I've got that out and on the bench here. And it was an adventure to get it out of there, that's for sure. couple of bolts that have to be, that one there I have to finish drilling out and then clean up in there, and otherwise everything looks pretty good right in there. So I'll carry on with taking this apart, number one, and checking out see if I can get the fan motor to work properly. Yeah, so now down here, when it comes from the factory, these are plastic welded, but this has been apart sometime and it's passed, and then these, they put these clippy things on. They look like those things right there, right? And so there's a bunch of those clippy things around. I'll count them in a minute here. And 2 screws. One screw goes right in there. The other screw goes right in there. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's more than that. I missed something. Try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh yeah, 13. Somehow in the book it said 18, but I can't find 18. Anyway, I'll carry on. Yeah, then it's the wiring goes into this right here, which is a resistor. So each one of these wires is off the switch for a different speed. So high speed, I think, is that one, right? So high speed is direct yellow to the end of it, right? So yellow is high speed. Next speed down would be this yellow and black. Can you see that? And then the last speed would be this white one. So low speed's white. Next speed is yellow and black, and then this one here. So I'd have to check. I'll check that with a ohm meter and see what the levels are as they come through there. And then the motor just pops out. I did pry it with a bit of a screwdriver, and it's as suspected, not moving. A not moving motor. So I'll see if I can get it freed up and what I'll have to do about that. Don't know if it's fixable or not. Yeah, so there's a heater fan motor, and this is the backing of it here. So it goes on, that goes on. Used to look like that, right? So I took that off, and then the fan itself, I can get it to turn, but it's all rusted and seized. It was seized when I started, but I can get it to turn, and I stuck some electricity to it, and it'll go bzz, bzz, and just barely turn. So it's likely time for a new one. New one's like on sale today, $49. So anyhow, I'll order up a new one of them, $49 US. So by the time it gets here, it's about $100. Anyhow, that's all right. I'll order that along with what I do at the supplier is I get stuff from the bus depot. The bus depot, pretty good guys down there, and they're fairly. Things happen fast when you order stuff. It gets to Canada in a reasonable amount of time. I got the gas tank from them, and all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, I usually, no matter what you order, if you ordered a $10 part, it might cost you $25 for shipping. But if you get a bunch of stuff together, then the shipping cost becomes reasonable, or halfway reasonable anyhow. And it shows up in like 3 days after you order it. So anyhow, I've got a bunch of stuff in my, I'm pointing the wrong place all the time. I've got a bunch of stuff in my order bin down there, so I'll get that coming, and that's too bad, but that's the way it is. Doesn't hurt. We'll get a new motor for it, and I'll put these things in there. There's got to be one more thing, plus this stuff here can go in there. So I'll figure out how to. I wonder where the other thing is. Oh, there it is, right there. Another shoe. These shoes I don't think will come with a new one. Anyway, there we go. So this is all, this is the little bin of bits that came off of the heater business. Yeah, there we're back in action here. So here, I'll start again. Here's all the bits that go along with that and the casing, wherever I put the casing down here. So I'll just get this cleaned up and then ready to go back in. And I'll test the resistor to make sure that's okay. I'm pretty sure the book will tell me how to do that. Yeah, here I am. Anyhow, so I've got this set to ohms, right? And then I've connected that's the ground wire to the positive wire coming in all cases. So the way the switch works is this is to the switch. Power comes in on this to the, this ignites the relay, which sends power to it there somehow or other. Anyhow, so that would be output from this thing, which is be the resistor, right? So the main wire, one wire goes in straight through, that yellow wire, it goes straight through, and that's this wire in the middle here. So if you hit that with the, then you get 0.6 of resistance, which is hardly anything, just in the wire, right? I don't know, can you see that? Hope so. Then the lowest setting would be the white wire here, which is this one right here. If you hit that, it comes up at, maybe I got the wrong one there. Oh, I hit the wrong one again. That's this one here. That one is the white wire. And the resistance, the ohms are 3.2 on that, so it takes more work for the electricity to go through there and get to the end of it. And then for mid-range, which is, setting 2 on is this one here, and 1.4. So that seems to be working okay, that resistor. So I looked in the book and I couldn't get any, they didn't give me any settings for it. They just said, yeah, here's a resistor. So, but that sounds reasonable to me. So this one here would be 3.2, this one here would be 1.4 or 1.8 or whatever it is. And this one here is straight through, or this one is straight through. So that seems to be okay. Okay, well I'll live with that. I think it's okay. Yeah, so I think this comes off. There's 3 screws here, so I'll just take this back far enough. I'll take that bit off, then I can get these things here cleaned and put them back in with some of that double-sided tape on it. I have a bunch of that up there. I might have to order some more of that stuff. Yeah, this part here, it appears that it was like it's still factory fastened with that plastic welding along there. So I'm not going to take that apart. I undid the screws, but it's all glued together here. So I'll clean this flap up as best I can, and then I'll put some of that foam tape on these bits down here. Okay, that's as much as I can do there. Yeah, sometimes it's easy to take stuff apart, not so easy to get it back together. So this piece here has to fit right into here. And it just slides in there easy, eh? No problem. No problem at all getting it in there if you don't have those things in there. But they have to go in there first. And then this has to slide in. And it should just slide in there, but it's not as easy as it looks. Yeah, so my camera, I've got it just barely working, so I think it's broken. I think it's broken beyond repair, because the gimbal for up and down is jamming on it. Oh well. Anyhow, this thing here, back to this thing here should just slide right in there, but I have to get those 2 pieces in there first, and then we'll see what happens. I think it's time to, might be time to order a new camera, I guess. Okay, here now. Once you get it figured out, this metal bit, I don't know, can you see that? Down here, right? This metal bit, this little actuator here, has to go out on outside. So once you figure out how that is, then the gel just slides right in like it's easy. long as you don't fight with it too bad, you're all right. That's the way that works. That's the deflector for the floor or the defrost, I guess. Anyway, now I'll just put the cover back on and put a screw in it, just so that I know what way it goes together. It doesn't fall apart again. And I'll let it be. Maybe now. So anyhow, I made a little cable repair here. This thing, the cable was broken in the middle, and I've been looking online for these cables and I can't seem to find them. So it works fine now, like it just goes back and forth, and it holds tight in the middle here now. So that should work for the heater, like it only gets used about, I don't know how often. It's the one that actuates the, I'll figure it out. I'll put it in the one that's least used. Anyhow, because they're all the same length. Yeah, there I am. Having camera problems today. Anyhow, what day is it? It's Thursday today, and pretty well done with cleaning up the wiring. I'll just show you what I've done for the week here. It doesn't look like much, except it's all clean now. So now I wonder where that was pointing when I was over here. Was it pointing at this stuff here? Anyhow, this thing here, there, that thing there is, this is for the windshield wiper relay, and it also runs wires to the back of the van for the back window. This thing here, I don't know what it does, but a big honking wire goes on there with lots of connections. The heater box isn't in here, right? You don't see it. So my machine just here, but the camera is having troubles. So the heater box is over in the back here, and I've taken it all apart. There it is. Taking it all apart. The motor, the heater motor is seized up. I did get it loosened out a bit, but not very much. So I took it all apart, cleaned it out, and fixed up some of those, the foam padding. This is the foam padding there is original, but there's some of the other foam paddings inside that I put new foam in there. Now I've put it back together just so I don't lose track of where things go on it. And I've only got one screw holding it together there. Then over on the driver's side, over there, all that mess of wiring, come on, I'll go over there and take a look. The other thing I did was fix the cables that run the heaters. They were all not quite right. And I didn't film that, but there wasn't much to it. So here's all the wiring for this is the Fusebox here. And I cleaned that all up, and there's only one, this is for going to the heater. That one goes to the heater. But I've cleaned up it all and made sure I cleaned up all of the grounding points. So it's all clean in here. All these wires down here that go to the dashboard and stuff like that, they're clean. I did find a couple of burnt wires where somebody had hooked something into it, maybe a stereo or maybe whatever they hooked into it, but so it shorted out, of course, and made a little bit of a mess. So I fixed up what I found of that. There wasn't very much, so I fixed that up, and then it's okay now. But I think that next week, I'll turn it around. Yeah, no, I think I'm pretty near ready to put the motor back up into it, and the motor and transmission, and get the electrics all hooked up and see if it actually works. I think it might work. So if I get the motor into it, then I'll clean up all the connections back there at the motor side, and that'll be more cleaning connections. But next week, so it's a good spot to cut it off this video, and next week I'll send you a video with maybe putting the motor in, maybe not. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, that's all for this week, and please enjoy it, and I'll see you next week. There you are. Pretty low tide today. Buster's out here to check out the water, see what happens. Gonna go swimming, doggy? Hey? Yeah, there we are. much action on the beach today. Pretty close to the end of January. It must be the 29th or something like that. And a good low tide. 29th of January, not a drop of ice anywhere. Oh, look at that. Get to do digging. Yeah, Buster's having a look around, eh? Here we come. There we are. Okay. Anyway, there you go. That's the beach today. I'm going to head back in, head up to the cove and up to the house and see what's going on.